Path of Exile 2 has revealed new gameplay, a boss fight, a new class called the Mercenary, as well as new features of the game including changes and new additions to the combat. This is really looking like a straight up improvement to the isometric genre, so after gathering all of the details and rewatching the latest walkthroughs, let's go through the cool new things coming in PoE 2. Also, I just want to point out how great the game is looking. The visual effects and environment are looking super immersive, especially for a top-down game. So firstly, let's go over the confirmation of the new changes to how you can control your character, and this applies to any class and any weapon type. You can now use WASD movement to control and move your character, allowing you to move separately to aiming, and you can still use traditional click to move if you want to. On top of this, there are changes to many character skills, whereby you can move while casting, increasing the pace and intensity of combat. Honestly, these changes together are great news to me, and it really does impact how the game will feel to play. And then we got a really good look at the new Mercenary Class, which is a new crossbow wielding character that comes with unique crossbow options, mimicking a variety of different firearm types but in crossbow form. They wanted this class to feel both responsive and snappy when firing the crossbow, similar to how shooting in first-person shooter games feels. So they've gone deep into making different crossbows that function kind of like a sniper rifle, a shotgun, and even assault rifles, but layered on top with different elemental ammo types and even attachments that all synergize together in different ways. For your character's equipment, you can only equip 2 crossbows at a time, and there's 3 different types to pick from. You have the burst crossbow, which is like a shotgun. It fires a burst of arrows which deal little damage individually, but if they all connect to a single target, it really packs a punch. It's important to note that armored enemies are more resistant to this type of damage, but there is a way around this later on. Then there's the power shot crossbow. It functions like a sniper rifle and deals high damaging slower hits. And then we have the rapid shot crossbow. This is a very fast shooting crossbow with a high magazine capacity, which can also be fired while running, allowing for chasing and evading enemies while keeping up the damage. But you also have ammo skills, which adds another layer of depth on top of how these different types of crossbows function. There's slight differences in how they work across the different types, so let's go through them. There's armor piercing ammo, which basically makes your hits pierce through enemies, good for taking on a group at once. However, for the rapid shot crossbow, each hit will erode an enemy's armor. This will eventually break it, which negates the burst shot crossbow's drawback of being bad against armored enemies. Meanwhile, for the power shot crossbow, if an enemy's armor is broken, you can then pull out your power crossbow to shoot them, which will trigger a special weak spot hit, which deals massive extra damage and high stun on the enemy. Then you have incendiary ammo. This is good against single targets as it ignites them, and with the burst shot crossbow, the more projectiles that you connect to a target, the more damage it will deal per hit, making it great for super close range situations. For the rapid shot crossbow, the incendiary ammo will charge up before firing, and then as you continue to shoot, it will heat up, dealing more damage per shot as you keep shooting. And then on top of that, it will boost the fire damage of any grenade you launch and automatically ignite oil grenades. Then for the power shot crossbow, this ammo will then turn into a pseudo rocket launcher, creating an explosive blast on impact for AoE damage. This has an additional synergy with grenades, where any grenades fired on the ground will instantly explode, allowing you to deal massive damage and set up a nice 1-2 hit by firing a grenade and then shooting it with a power shot with incendiary ammo. And then we have permafrost ammo, which will slow enemies by chilling them and has a chance to freeze them in place completely. Frozen enemies are also vulnerable to a special effect of the armor-piercing ammo, which makes them explode for huge AoE damage nearby. Furthermore, the rapid-fire crossbow can also shoot the ground with this ammo type to create ice crystals that act kind of like mines, exploding when enemies touch them and applying chilling to them to slow them down. So you can make traps and set up a sort of safe area before engaging in a fight. But you also have the power shot crossbow, which will create ice walls with this ammo on impact, which allows you to block off areas in corridors and alleys to help control enemies. These walls will explode when broken by enemies, dealing some damage, but also synergizes with the burst shot crossbow's combo of armor-piercing ammo, which deals extra damage when exploding frozen things, so these ice walls combo well with armor-piercing burst shot. On top of this, you also have the attachment slot in your crossbow, and this is where the grenades come from, as the attachment is basically a grenade launcher. This allows you to fire different grenade types that are slotted in for different effects when they explode. These attachments also function as skill gems, so they're essentially extra skill slots for your character and can be augmented with support gems, which is pretty cool. cool. The grenades are fired separate from your crossbow's primary shooting and will explode after a short delay with different effects based on the type that you choose. Because of this, you can always use your permafrost ammo to slow or freeze enemies, which will then give time for the grenades to explode and finish them off. There's 3 different types of grenades that we know so far, with explosive grenades being the sort of default one that deals massive damage with a delayed explosion. You also have flash grenades that only deal a little damage but deal massive stun on enemies. And then there's oil grenades like we mentioned before, but these will actually slow enemies by covering them with oil and leaving oil patches on the floor. This is of course good for kiting, but also can be set on fire with incendiary ammo, which will then trigger the enemies or oil spots to burn, causing additional damage over time. So basically, you have these 3 different crossbow types, 3 different ammo types, and then 3 different grenade types, which all combo and synergize together in different ways to make for some pretty interesting build potentials. And a really cool thing that we got to see is this character in action using a bunch of these different synergies against a boss, and the boss is pretty cool, so I'm going to leave you with the boss fight.
I'm not letting you anywhere near him. Stay still, the mother! No. My dear child! Your time has come! By the gods! Rapid fire! Children! Eat your fill! Hard! Take this! Piercing shot! What have you done? Come, my children! Freeze! Dismember! What is going on in this godforsaken city?